from the very first movie of Sketchpad, taken in the summer of 1962. So this is 25 years old. Rubber bands you're familiar with, but look at what he's doing. He's pointing at the edges and saying, I want them to be all mutually perpendicular, and Sketchpad just figured out how to do that. Sketchpad is the first system to ever have a window. He's actually drawing on a virtual sheet of paper about 1/3 of a mile on a side. And again, to get something he wants, he simply sketches it in roughly and then gives rules like be parallel and perpendicular, and Sketchpad figures out and solves the problems. Here the rule is collinearity, so that the dashes lie directly over the guidelines below. The Sketchpad was able to solve very complicated problems in real time involving both linear and nonlinear systems of constraints. So it was the first non-procedural programming system and considerably more powerful than the spreadsheets of today. So he's made a hole in the flange, continuously zooms back. Now he wants to make a rivet, and again we see why it's called Sketchpad. He just draws a rough shape, uses the center of the crossbar there as the center of the arc, and then points to the edges and says, I want these to be mutually perpendicular again. Solving that forces the crossbar to change, which forces the arc to change, which gives you a perfectly symmetrical rivet. And he shows that no matter how you distort it, when he turns the problem solver on, it will come up with a symmetrical solution. And he could have made it more complicated. He could have constrained the side lengths to be ratios of each other, or tied to some other drawing in the environment. Now, another important idea seen here for practically the first time is that of master drawings and instances. He was working on a master drawing, and what he has here now is an instance of that. The instance can be rotated and scaled and positioned. So he's going to insert the rivet in the hole. By the way, the Sketchpad was the first system in which it was definitely discovered that the light pen is a very bad input device. So the blood runs out of your hand in about 20 seconds and leaves it numb. And in spite of that, it's been reinvented at least 90 times in the last 25 years. Here's another instance of the rivet, another one. A display is jumping around like that because they didn't even really have computer displays back then. The TX2 is putting up every dot by brute force. He didn't like the cross pieces, so he goes to the master drawing, makes them transparent. Lo and behold, we see dynamically that the rivets, the instance rivets, have felt that change. So Sketchpad is also the first object-oriented software system. I once asked Ivan Sutherland, how could you possibly have done the first interactive graphics program, the first non-procedural